Hi everyone. I thought I'd do like vlogs on Fridays. Just it's easy enough. Throw it out. It can be there for a Saturday morning. Because my computer takes forever to render. It's usable, but my sub $200 US gaming PC video I did is something that took 10 hours to render in that thing. So first and foremost, I'm working on getting a new rendering computer. I do have one I could use right now, I suppose. My Pentium 4 is better than that. It has a GeForce 7600 GT in it. It is actually it's an LGA 775 hyper-threaded 3 gigahertz 64-bit Pentium 4. So it's one of the last Pentium 4s, and it's really good. And it's still fairly decent for like media playback and stuff like that. It's fine. So see about maybe using that with Sony Vegas instead of this, because this has like Intel GMA 950 onboard video, and is a Turon. Really, it's an Intel Core Duo, but a mobile version of one. That's what the yeah. It's not a Turon. It's what do they call it again? Jump cut. Centrino Duo, which is like the mobile version of the Intel Core Duo that they had. Yeah, it's like 1.57, throttles down. As a browsing computer, day-to-day computer, and the computer that I'm using for like working with my game bridge. Yeah, that's about all it'll be for. It's fine, but rendering video takes forever. Sony Vegas 11, I can't GPU render with it. My GPU is not supported apparently. Bull hockey on that. But the Pentium 4, it's LGA 775, but it won't support true dual core. The hyper-threaded single cores, decently fine enough. But I got a couple GPU options lined up. It's a weird way how it works out. I'm upgrading the video card in my sub $200 PC. The 6870 is a great GPU still. You want to have like something for like esports, Counter-Strike Go and stuff like that. It's perfect. But for playing newer AAA titles, it falters a bit, and then it's DirectX 11 but not 11.3, and DirectX 12 where you're needing it for games like Resident Evil 7, which I have there, which I can't play because I have a 6870, and then I'm playing Star Wars Battlefront, and Han Solo is just this blinking, glowing thing of lights, and it's a glitch that is only with my series of Radeon card, 6000 series. So I'm going to upgrade anyway. I already got a card lined up, an R9 270X. Not going to say where it's from, but the guy's offering 65. He said 65 he'll do, and shipping from Ontario, so that's fine. Reddit, by the way, is your friend, folks. If you're trying to, you're very limited in your area and you need to get some budget parts and you're on a budget. So I'm going to take the 6870 out of mine, give it to my nephew, who I built a PC for, which I still have to put the video up for because I'm going to do a story on how his PC has been, how it started out, how it's evolving over the last, 3 months. So I was about due for a quarterly report because there's already been an upgrade and addition thrown into it. So, long story short, I'm giving him my 6870. He's going to get himself a bigger power supply so he can future-proof as well. So, around summertime or whatever, when he has enough money saved up, he just got himself a job now. He's like in grade 10 or grade 11. And he'll buy himself a better card then and be fully prepared. But until then, he'll be using a really great card for his Counter-Strike Go that he has. He's using the 630 GT right now, which is for gaming. I had to actually use that thing for quite a bit until I got myself the 6870. But an R9 270X is going to haul, so that's a cool thing. And it does Vulkan, so I get to try Doom at a bevy higher spec. So I'm going to get his 630 and his power supply that I put into the computer that he's got there. And that's probably going to go in the video card, and the power supply are going to go into my Pentium 4. And for a couple of reasons. One is I can use the 630 for now until I got to send a friend of mine over in England, Mike. If you're watching, hi Mike. I got to send him some money for postage. And he's got a Radeon 4870 for me now. It's better than the 6870 because although it is a bit older, this is the, I should say, the 4870X2. This is the 4870 that had 2 GPUs on the single card. And so Crossfire, it's built into the board, so the board's automatically built for Crossfire. It takes an 8-pin, but the it takes an 8-pin. The power supply I'm getting back from my nephew is a 450 watt, but the 6-pin will do 8-pin. I got an adapter coming, and apparently it'll run it fine. It's got sufficient power coming out of that rail. Anyway, that's going to go into the Pentium 4, and that's going to help with the render time in Sony Vegas. Sorry, blank for a second. The 630 will do me for now, and then when everything's together and in there, it'll be a dual GPU 4870, 2 gig version too, so it'll pump out the production. But it's 64-bit as well. It's a Pentium 4 that's 64-bit, so reasonably I could boost it up to 8 gigs of RAM. I'm not gonna because the old Dell power supply out of my Dell that's in it, the stock 350 watt, and the 630 GT will be going into another Dell that I have that's about as old as this Dell. It's the Dimension E520. It's stripped down right now in my closet there. The motherboard's there, the ribbons are there, the cooler is there. I believe the Pentium D in it bit the dust. But it's LJ775. I just haven't gotten around to doing anything with it. So my nephew's already got a newer CPU. I got it for him for his birthday. He's got a quad-core Q8400, I believe. Thanks, Anthony, by the way. And he said he can notice the performance. I'm going to take that dual core that he's got laying around. I'm going to throw that into this Dell, the Dimension E520. And then it'll be a Core 2 Duo. I got 5, maybe 6 gigs of RAM already lined up for it. I can throw the 630 GT in it and throw a 750 gig hard drive in it if I can score one for cheap enough. And I'm going to put the DVD RW in there, and I'm going to see if I can find a lot of Blu-ray drives, 5.25 inch bay ones, just Blu-ray drives, just for playing Blu-rays. Throw Windows 10 on it, and I'm going to give it to a friend of mine's son. So things we try to run that, and then pretty soon I'm going to have another spare case laying around because I've started a new custom case. Shut up, Snapchat. You are not welcome here. I had this old case lying around in a closet. It was getting dusty, musty, even, dare I say, a little moldy maybe. And so what I did was I took it all apart and cleaned it up. It's a chassis from like, it's a full case, I should say, from like 2001, 2002. Had an XP era machine in it. But as the chassis goes, it's bleeding solid. It's here's the chassis. Drive bays here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 5.25 inch bays. Two up here 3.5 inch bays for like for accessories, but in total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3.5 inch bays here. These two are more for like floppy drives. Wanted to put 2 of those in, or in my case I'm going to make a small cage and just have peripherals in there like USB and card reader in here, and a switch for extra cooling, because you see the 2 vents on the front there, those you see there have screw mounts, so I can put 2 fans in the front, fan in the back. It's never punched out, and I'm not punching them out either. And well, all the vents there, and then I got all the parts for that. Actually, this to cover up. Right. Okay. It roughly looks like that. So, that's going to be green internally. I'm keeping that color. Might go a little darker. It depends. Might go matte green. This is the top of that case. The panel came off perfectly. It just screws on, screws off, pops in, pops out. You can see screw holes in the front there, see? And they screw right into the front and the back of the chassis. I'm going to put a hole here, a vent here with that, because my case actually is transverse, I think you would call it. So the fan actually vents up. It's not overheating or anything right now because I'm not nearly pushing it, even with that 6870 in there. The rest of the hardware is pretty lightweight for power. But it'll be nice for it to be able to vent out nicer. So besides that, that's the only mod I need to do. Besides, I'm debating if I should do the whole panel or just replace the panel with just a piece of plexi. Well, this is the panel. These are identical. They have them on both sides. This one's got a little bit of a, I just, quickly took off the paint. It's all sealed back in now, but really, ideally, this was going to be the one that's going to be sacrificial lamp for possibly a panel. It's probably cut out along the indentations here. Oh, along the indentations here. And actually, it would be like this against the case. Maybe keep this here and splice this a little bit on so it marries into the plexiglass. I don't know. Probably just go with a whole solid piece of plexi and have this for a spare. Side of the case and the rest of the case, it'll mount on fine on its own. I was able to take that all apart too. This thing is built so it actually breaks down very nicely. You don't run the risk of breaking anything. There's only hot glue holding in the LEDs and that, so it'll just slightly delicate work with a set of pliers, and you've got it things without breaking anything or breaking the wiring. So there's the front. There's these 4 drive bays here now. 3 of them are going to be covered, and there's going to be a disc drive, DVD or Blu-ray drive in there, one or the other, because this is just for gaming, so I don't really even need a burner in the thing. But for now, I'm going to put a SATA DVD drive in there, just because, and then put the others there. And if at some point I come across a Blu-ray drive, I'm going to throw a Blu-ray drive in there. This was actually where one of the floppy drives was, and I'm not going to be using that for a floppy drive. So this area here actually goes on. It's gray because I'm going to paint this over with a few coats of the green when I get some more green for the chassis. This is getting painted too, and it'll go in like that. And I'm going to try to make something with this and the other plate, and make a plate for it, and that's where like the USB drive and the switch for the extra fans will be. My motherboard has 1 fan output, and that is to the CPU fan. My CPU cooler has 2 fans, so what I gotta do is I'm gonna put a button on that for gaming mode where the 3 case fans and the second CPU fan all kick in. So it's like might have a small potentiometer on that as well, just to adjust the lean. So we'll see. But yeah, built pretty solid. I'm not going to put the arm back in down, the cover back in down here though. I don't think it might be part of that panel that I'm going to make. It's supposed to go here, but I think I'll probably end up scratching this, and I don't want to ruin priming something that could be used for something else. But it's got the 2 headphone and the 2 USB. So yeah, this is for the power switch. The power switch goes down here. Oh, the power switches all came out of the casing fine. So everything came apart perfectly. Now, one cool thing is everything came apart perfectly to the point where this just slots out. This is where the motherboard goes to. I believe though, look at the case, jump cut, and the back. This is up. This is up. I have a mini ITX motherboard, so it doesn't even take up all this. And I'm going to put a 16X extension here, have the ribbon go along here, just so everything is a bit more spread out. The CPU and everything is housed, and the cooler and that's housed here, and the RAM. And this here is the where the video card will be, as opposed to where it would be, where it'll hold all this heat here. If I spread it out here, this heat will be able to dissipate, and this heat will be able to dissipate. And even then, it'll be a bit off the bottom of the case, so it'll have its own airflow. The 2 fans then will be from the actual case. So this is where the power supply will be. This is where the general area of the cooler, the deep cool mini that I have, dual fan coolers here, and then the video card will be down here. So the air comes in from the front here on 2 fans, but everything spreads out in the fan, and the power supply vents up here, and it's got its own intake, as well as the CPU and the GPU down here. So heat will distribute a lot evenly. At some point I'm going to put an LED strip in it. Right now it shouldn't be too bad, but I'm probably going to put more green on it, probably a darker green, like a more forest green. And the gray panels here are going to go green as well. And so, but most of the black for side panels, top panel, and the dry bay covers and the drives, so they match the drives, are going to be black. Possibly. There's one thought though. I'm back. Well, one cool thing is that I pack rat a lot of tech stuff that may be useful, and this is the point where something became useful. This is the optional bezel for I think it gives, no, it doesn't give a brand on it because it's fairly generic. No, it gives this manufacturer tool marks, that's it. This is a generic 5.25 inch drive bay front bezel and drive bay door cover. These come out, these are very tab and slot, whatever. I'm probably going to paint these. So give them a few light coats. Like here, I think this pops out the button. And that should pop right out. So I should be able to paint these all. I think Magic Eraser might be able to take these off. Not sure. I'm going to see what silk screen can be taken off without ruining the surface too much. I could paint these green to match some of the greenness, I don't know. And I think that would be pretty funky. Even maybe a little bit of yellow trim, like make it kind of like an all matte pastel-y kind of 80s-ish. But the orange I want is like a spice orange, and the green would be a bit more forest green. But something to look at. Really just like show it's custom. It's not just I paid somebody to get a case done. I did the case. Once I get the R9270X for that thing, it'll be fine. 8 gigs of RAM, triple core 460, overclocked 3.7 gigahertz. Yeah, it's not true quad core, but it's better than a hyper-threaded dual core. For its age, it's aging quite well. So I'll probably keep around for something. I might throw something together for a relative of mine. Looks very console-like, so I might just throw together a RetroPie system there. And try to get all the other things with the other cases I have. Now I got some older like Pentium 4s and stuff like that. I might start stripping them out and getting little 99-cent little jumper cables for AGP and stuff like that, ribbon cables, and getting some chloroplast and building like little very budget recycled computers and show how recycled they are. Make them out of like old signs and stuff, and like have everything folded over in certain ways for like big square beams in it and stuff like that. But have them made for like old RetroPie subs, like, you know, that old Pentium 4 will probably get like a, I don't know, FX 5800 GeForce, which is like 256 meg video card. You know, it's not even DirectX 10, but you know what, it runs enough OpenGL to run emulators, and it'll run mostly all the old emulators for RetroPie, and RetroPie is porting out to the PC, so I can just throw RetroPie on, you know, something like that, and throw an old 80 gig hard drive in it. That's all you really need. Load it full of ROMs and game images and stuff, and even like you can set it up to run off the disk. And unlike a Raspberry Pi, where when you add the DVD drive to read movies, you would have to get the license applied to it. This is like £6 and change. This is like $10 Canadian. I'm probably going to do it for a project of mine that I'm doing with a Raspberry Pi, but for RetroPie X86, you don't got to worry about that. You just put it in, and you go into the extra packages and install Kodi, so you can just boot right into RetroPie. So I'm going to make these for like set-top boxes. Oh, I'm taking the tape off. So, yeah, upgrading and going to be transplanting, and, you know, I'm taking my time with this case, but I'm going to be slowly working on the process to get all my PC stuff properly put into something that shows it a lot of care. As a make-do case, is a good make-do case, but that case is going to be retired. I'm going to put something else in there, and use my heat gun and very carefully take off the vinyl label that I got on there, the Nuka-Cola. That'll probably actually go internally into the case, so I'll figure that out too. So yeah, I'm gonna build a Pentium 4 editing rig using a lot of old parts that should probably give decent render times. That 4870 should not bottleneck on hyper-threaded 3 gigahertz 64-bit Pentium 4, and if I threw like 8 gigs in that and then 10 gigs because of 64-bit and 64-bit Windows 7, I should be able to do quite a bit of video. So yeah, I'll be sticking with Vegas. But the old HP laptop will be semi-retired. I just use it for when I need to, for like when I gotta hook up the Game Bridge or something to it for, you know, capture and or streaming. You know, something like that's perfect for if I'm hooking in a VCR or something like that and capturing footage off of that, and run it through Handbrake, deinterlace it, and maybe bring the sharpness up a little bit and restore it a bit, and yeah. So yeah, and it's like this camera's 480p. It's digital, but it's 480p. There's another thing too. My friend Mike, who I'm getting the video card off of, he has some RAM there for me, and he has a 1080p JVC that runs off a SD, and I got an 8 gig SD card, which is fine for something like this. This one is good because it has a hard drive, so I can just do whatever I want with it. For now, it's fine though. I'm like, it's doing me fine. When I can get this stuff off of Mike, I will. But I'm probably going to start transitioning that Pentium 4 over to a editing rig rather soon. I could probably have decent editing on it right now, and I've got stuff there to do a monitor off of it very easily, so I'll be fine in that respect. And the HP can actually go into the bedroom, and I've got popcorn time and everything on there anyway, so set up a shelf on top of my television, or just put it on top of my subwoofer, and yeah, I can watch DVDs with it. I can output the video and sound to the TV anyway, so that's fine. So I don't lose the functionality when I'm doing there, and I can plug the router into it, and the router's there as well to take care of everything. So this is probably one of the last recordings I'm going to be doing on the old HP, unfortunately. But I got 2 screens I'm going to have there then, and a fine little workspace. And the HP, it's not really going to be retired. It's going to be put in Shady Pines, but it'll still be doing some work. It'll be the Wi-Fi repeater, just on a lot lower power lean. So yeah, that's my week in tech, really. Besides, I'll fix I got a gateway that needs to be repaired. I'm going to be fixing that soon. But for now, the free Lenovo laptop that my friend Bud sent me. Hi, Bud. It's not a bad little laptop, I'm going to tell you right now. For a budget Lenovo laptop, one of the first APUs, it's fine. But Windows 10 is something on there that works good, but it has to actually help its shortcomings, because I think with Windows 7 and like running videos through Chrome through YouTube at high def, it kind of chugs. But because I have Windows 10 on it, and I haven't nerfed it really that much, running it as it should have been intended to be, so to speak, so I don't have to make any concessions for it, because it's only like a 3, maybe 4-year-old laptop. It's got a E1 1500, so it's like a dual core 1.8 gigahertz with 7315 Radeon in it on the chip. So it's only 4 gigs RAM. The Radeon only accesses like maybe 400, about 300 gigs 300 megs realistically of the RAM. 300 gigs of RAM. Frick. I wish I had that. But it's decent enough. I've used like more apps for doing some things. I find it's just easy use, and Windows 10 does kind of do that. Like there's this one Perfect 2, and I can do 1080p 60 frames a second on that thing, no problem. But Chrome, forget about it. Chrome's graphics are fairly demanding for some reason. But you know, when I'm in the living room while watching YouTube anyway, I cast to my Chromecast. So and that's primarily what it's really doing, is controlling my Chromecast and checking my social feed, my Facebook, and things like that. So I'm liking it. The keyboard's a little something to get used to, that chiclet style that the Macs really made popular. A lot of people are aping now on the more economy keyboards. It's fine. Cheap, free keyboard. I'm definitely not a cheap, free laptop. I'm not looking that in the mouth, that gift horse. I'm not going to be gaming on it. Well, I'm going to try RetroArch on it because it's RetroArch. It doesn't really require much. Let's get like Raycast or something like that to do on it. PCSX2 probably wouldn't run with too much issue on that thing. So like retro gaming could probably be done with quite a bit of ease on that. But I'm building a RetroArch x86 as well. I got an old Pentium 4 out there. I got 2 gigs of RAM in it, TDR RAM, and I'm going to try to get myself an AGP8X card. As good as one as I can get that'll run without anything besides maybe a Molex in it for a bit of extra power. But I just, get something NVIDIA, use Ubuntu 4. I'm going to use 1404. RetroArch will run on 1404. They say, you need 1604. I've done it on 1404. It runs fine. It even says in the GitHub, you can do this on 1404 Ubuntu. Or Debian Wheezy. Actually, Debian or Debian, however you pronounce it, Wheezy. I got it in the old Pontiac case that I started up my budget build with, and A friend of mine gave me. I've returned most all the compact parts into the old Pontiac case. And there's a 40 gig hard drive in it, so I'm just gonna deck on probably Debian Squeeze and do RetroPie that way. Just make a boot into it and install Kodi that way. Put the video card in it, so you know it could be a Kodi box and do retro gaming. And I want to try to get a GPU that has S-Video out, so it can be meant for like older computers, like the one in the bedroom. I'll probably have that then set up as a RetroPie system. And instead of using the laptop for it, the laptop I want to keep Windows 7 for a reason, what it can do in Windows 7. So I use Linux a lot of times for purpose-built things, and this is going to be a really fun little project. I think I'm going to keep everything in the case. Don't know, might throw everything into another case yet. I haven't made my mind up yet. But that's some projects I'm kind of farting around with right now. So yeah, I might at the end of the day have a dual screen editing rig at the least of it, and might go out and get some Dremel cutting discs and some paint. That's been my week. I'm getting over being sick. Yeah, so this weekend I'm probably gonna like poke at a couple of projects, edit some stuff, and you know, maybe throw together the editing rig and I'll do video on that and then see how it renders on that. That shouldn't actually take long. This would be a straight swap. Alright, well, we'll catch you later. Okay, appendix to the video, I went ahead and started a preliminary editing suite. So now, this dual screen, this one does 1200 by 900, this one's like 1360 by 768. I got a cam, this is my main mic, my BM750. Sounds better coming out of this thing. As well, friggin' voice meter always makes the microphone sound all duplexed and crap, which it shouldn't be, so I'm just recording straight like I would. And analog headphones. I do have my secondary Logitech Rock Band mic there for, I can just plug it into this actually and just run it over here if I were to do any video set here, perched here, or maybe up around here. Yeah, this is a Pentium 4, it's hybrid threaded, it's 64-bit, it's 3 gigahertz. I have 4 gigs DDR2 in this thing. There's a GeForce 7600 GS, but that's only just to do me. In about a month there'll be a 630 GT GeForce Zotac in that. It'll help with Sony Vegas and GPU rendering. Yeah, so a special little treat you got. See a nice little old hardware editing rig be made. Gonna be doing probably about 720p video on this for the most part, but for now should be a bit better than this old HP that it retired. So yeah, end of an era. Keep tuned for more content and keep your eyes peeled. Hit that bell.